Well, I didn't expect anything to really be going on this week, but here we are. We've got a little bit of leaked news about Rocksteady's upcoming Suicide Squad game called Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at the leaked image, talk about the overarching conversation that's being had around it, and of course, I'll give you my thoughts. So let's get into it. Okay, so bam. Here's the leaked image. As you can see, we've got our 4 playable characters in a pretty standard video game lobby, and there's maybe 2 or 3 things of interest here on this screen, but the big one and the one we'll be focusing on mostly in this video is right up at the top. We can see here that the player is currently on the squad tab as indicated by its yellow highlighting, but if we go over a few tabs, we see Battle Pass. That's right, a Battle Pass like those good old live service games do. Now, for a lot of the gaming industry, the idea of games as a service is a controversial one, and when a game says it'll be a live service, there is a section of the gaming community that is immediately put off for one reason or another, especially when it isn't apparent that the game in question would be or should be a live service. So, eyebrows have definitely been raised with this Suicide Squad Battle Pass revelation happening. And while I'm not one of those people who is against live service or runs for the hills when I hear it, in this situation I kinda can't blame the people who are now approaching this game with extreme caution. Because when we get down to specifics, there isn't a whole lot to compare this game to. We don't actually get a lot of story-driven live service games, that kinda continually add story expansions and things of the like outside of more traditional MMORPGs. The only thing you can really look at to see it done successfully is Destiny 2, a game that many people have tried and failed to walk in the footsteps of. And when you try to look beyond Destiny 2 for something comparable to what it appears Suicide Squad will be, your mind almost immediately goes to the Marvel's Avengers game. And of course, that is not a good look, because now, on paper at least, Marvel's Avengers and Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League are incredibly similar in terms of approach, both being co-op, mission-based live service games that are banking on popular established superhero IP, with the one of them that already failed being based on the much larger IP. So I do understand having some trepidation in regard to the live service occasion of the Suicide Squad game. However, we do also have to look at what's different. Probably most importantly, the developers are different, right? While both Crystal Dynamics and Rocksteady have works to be proud of, I definitely hold Rocksteady in higher esteem, and that was even before the Marvel's Avengers debacle. I mostly blame that whole affair on Square Enix, really. But what Crystal Dynamics did with the revival of the Tomb Raider franchise doesn't really hold a candle to what the Arkham series did, in my opinion. So I'm not ready to treat Rocksteady and Suicide Squad like they don't have the potential to execute better than Crystal and the Avengers. There's also the benefits that come with learning from others' mistakes, Rocksteady definitely saw what happened to the Avengers. Everyone saw it. And if they're wise about it, they hopefully logged some of those missteps and know how to better approach this idea in order to not repeat the failures of Marvel's Avengers. Now, I know I said I hold Rocksteady in higher esteem than Crystal Dynamics, not to mention Rocksteady has the benefit of having already worked in the DC universe, but the last time we saw Rocksteady was 8 years ago in 2015. In my opinion, we were left on a good note, and there's the old saying that you're only as good as your last performance. But that was a fairly long time ago still. So who's to say these are the same people with the same magic touch they had all those years ago, People change, things get old. And someone who knew how to make things work in one era may not know how to make things work in another. And providing a game as a service is an entirely different challenge that we can't confirm that they're up to. Now, maybe we're overreacting, it's just a battle pass, but having a battle pass clearly communicates to players that we plan to stick around, except for in the case of Call of Duty or whatever, but in 99.9% of all games with battle passes, the plan is to exist and stay relevant for as long as possible. Not to mention, the leaked image also has a store tab. Not that it matters, the battle pass is incriminating enough, right? I guess what I'm saying is, I do have faith that this can be pulled off, and the material they've chosen lends itself well to the idea. As I spoke about in my most anticipated games of 2023 video, there is a very deep well of characters who have been part of Task Force X, aka the Suicide Squad. And so you have tons of characters who can potentially be added, tons of awesome skins you can probably think up for them or pull from a comic, but the Avengers had all of that going for it too. And like I said, with a much stronger IP. But I suppose it's possible that having that big of an IP could have worked to that game's detriment, you know, higher expectations and all that. I'm not sure, you know, who knows what went wrong with that game. Well, we know some of the stuff, but you know, who knows everything that went wrong with that. I'm not sure how all this is going to turn out for Suicide Squad and Rocksteady is what I'm getting at, I guess. This is a fairly interesting development. And now that we've talked about the big stuff, just real quick, I do want to bring the leak back up and quickly point out the little game modes tab to the left of our boy Captain Boomerang. We can see the player is doing a story mission currently, and so it stands to reason that another game mode would be side missions. But then I also wonder if maybe there are character specific missions or a survival / horde mode of some kind, you know. I think that could be fun. I don't know. I just wanted to point it out. Despite all of this, I'm still personally very excited about the potential of this game. But, you know, what do you think? Do you think this Suicide Squad game can do what the Avengers couldn't? Or maybe you're just turned off altogether. Like maybe you don't care if it's a success or not. You're just not into the whole idea of a live service. And this is all just super disappointing to you. You know, let me know if that's your take. I, for one, remain excited for this game, and I do think Rocksteady can get this done successfully, mainly based on the stock I'm putting in them as a dev team, and that could be a mistake. I could have way too much faith in them, but it's how I feel. So give me your thoughts in the comments if you feel like it, and I'll link the videos that have some of my other thoughts about live service as a thing and as a genre in gaming, which I've spoken a lot about. I'll put them up on the screen for you. But until next time, I am Waifu Belector. I am just a normal guy. I like hentai, and I still want to kill the Justice League. Goodbye.